Please join me in prayer. Chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, chanting his name continually, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like the tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Govinda, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet, let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. Good morning and welcome. So today we are going to have our this Sunday dedicated to the Christmas Day service. As most of you are aware of, that next Sunday, which is day after Christmas Day, is also the birthday anniversary of Holy Mother Sharada Devi. So this Sunday we are having that special day celebrating the Christmas. Usually in our order everywhere, beginning from Belur our main temple on the banks of Holy River Ganges in Bengal, India, to all other centers, we celebrate especially the Christmas Eve, which we shall do in our very small way this time also, the Friday evening. But this Sunday is dedicated to Christmas, as I mentioned, and the message of Jesus Christ. And I'm very happy that to deliver an appropriate message and talk appropriate to the occasion, we have got among ourselves, within us, Swami Kripamayananda Maharaj, who is the in charge and minister of the Vedanta Society of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So he has kindly come all the way over here to give this talk. Swami Kripamayananda is quite a senior Swami of our order. When he was very young, still a college going student, he came in contact with many senior Swamis of our order. Several of them were disciples of Holy Mother Sharada Devi or disciples of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And then he joined the monastic order in 1976 after completion of his education in the university, gotten his spiritual initiation from the 10th president of the order, Srimad Swami Vireshwaranandi Maharaj, and then the monastic vows from the 11th president, Swami Gambhiranandi Maharaj, in 1986, which, by the way, was the centenary year of the foundation of the monastic order also. He served at various locations, specifically the educational institutions run by our order back in India. And then for 27 years serving the order in India, he was sent to Toronto in July 2003 to help Swami Pramuthanandi Maharaj there, who was the founder of Toronto Center. And at that time, he was quite elderly monk. After his passing away, Swami Kripamayananda became the head of that center, and ever since that, he is serving that center. But not only while serving that center, he is helping to expand the sphere of the message of Vedanta around Toronto, but he is being invited, as he is quite popular among all the sphere of the followers of Vedanta. He is very popular as Swami. So he is invited everywhere. He goes to all different places in Canada and also many different locations in US. So he is a very well-traveled Swami. To our center also he had visited before, some 10 years back. And at that time also he gave a wonderful talk. He is here for a couple of days and we are enjoying his holy company while he is here. So today he has picked up the topic for his talk as God appears as his own messenger. We are very eager to listen to his talk. Welcome, Swami Kripamayananda Maharaj. We are very happy that you are with us. Welcome.
Good morning to everyone here. Good morning. So it has been such a joy to be in St. Petersburg, Florida again after many years. The place is so different and so joyful, particularly in the winters when the rest of the country, rest of the even our continent, North America, is under snow and in the very cold temperatures. Here it is warm, happy, green everywhere. So other places we have white Christmas maybe in many northern places, particularly Canada, it's full of snow. Except our western province of British Columbia and particularly the city of Vancouver, which gets little less snow. All other cities in Canada are full of snow this time. And it's all green, beautiful. The Florida is so wonderful to have its contact and comparatively with our tradition. Sri Ramakrishna practiced his sadhana, most of his sadhana in Panchavati, having 5 sacred trees, a grove made of 5 sacred trees. And of those two we find here in St. Petersburg. One is the Bale tree here in our property itself. Another is huge banyan tree on the way to the bay. So it becomes very holy place in that way. Here is many trees of the Panchavati are here. This land is a land of sadhana for the seekers of God, a fit place where we can meet God. And how to find God? God appears as his own messenger. Difficult to know God. Vedanta will say God appears as this universe. But for us, it is difficult to recognize God in everyone. So, God comes to this world time and again to deliver his own message and also to redeem the world from ignorance, from suffering, from bondage. And that we call avatara, incarnation of God. They are messengers. Particularly, you find the message is being given by Krishna as the Gita, Sri Ramakrishna's conversation in the Gospel, and Jesus' messages that were later incorporated as the Bible, the New Testament. So God appears as messenger. Why has to God come to this world again and again? This world is created by God, and he also set it in such a way that in the lapse of time, the people forget the real way, where to go, where we to find bliss. So he has to come again to direct us to the right path so that we can live the purpose for which we are born, to walk in light, to live in bliss. God comes as his own messenger. God himself, the messenger, and God, according to Vedanta, are same. God appears as the human being. And that all the things that a human being goes through. He is born, he lives, he matures, and his body dies. So everything happens as it happens to any other human being. But they are different in their purpose of life and in their power of spirituality. They don't live for themselves. They live for us. And when they live for us, their life is so holy, so spiritually powerful, that even after they give up their body, they leave this world, their power remains very strong. And for centuries, that goes on guiding. God again has to come to soothe the time. Time changes. So, to soothe the time, God has to come again. But whatever the God comes once as his own messenger, or you can call as avatara or incarnation, that power remains the same. The power of Christ has not become less by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming. It is the same. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will lead certain other people. So power of Buddha remains same. Power of Ramakrishna will never diminish. It will remain same for those who seek enlightenment under his guidance. So again maybe another incarnation comes. But the incarnations that have come are so powerful that lapse of time of centuries, millions, will not make them less relevant. They remain same relevant. We are celebrating Christmas next week. And today is the day in our center here, and people, the devotees in Toronto, are also listening to us here. They were so fortunate to have the darshan of St. Petersburg Center and to listen the introductory things from Swami Ishtanandaji Maharaj. So, Sri Ramakrishna was a unique personality. As it is said, he was so unique in the history of spirituality that he was called a phenomenon, a unique being. Why he is unique? All teachers have taught and guided us. He was unique in many ways, of which one is he practiced spirituality through all the religions that are available now, through all the branches of Hinduism, Vaishnavism, Tantra, Vedanta, all. Not only that, he practiced Islam, he practiced Christianity. How, and he was so interested to learn how people worship God and came to the conclusion that all people, whatever faith they may belong to, are devotees of God, and if they sincerely follow their own faith, they will reach God Himself, who is called by different names. One God, different names. God, Allah, Jehovah, Ek Onkar, Brahman, Krishna, Rama, everything is the name of same God. So that's how Sri Ramakrishna's interest to know God, how people of different faiths worship God. After practicing all the sadhanas unheard of in the history of spiritual practices, not even other avatars like Krishna and Rama are detailed how they had practiced. Neither there were so many different faiths at that time, prehistoric time. Sri Ramakrishna tried to know because he loved humanity. He wanted all human beings to proceed and progress towards that blissful state called God realization, to be united to that bliss. When we are with the bliss, we are with God. Swami Vivekananda said, if you are spiritual, the first sign is cheerfulness. If you are not cheerful, peaceful, then you are not practicing spirituality. You may take the name of God, you may try to sit and try to be seen as meditating. You may read the scriptures, listen to the sermons, or the spiritual talks, but you have to be cheerful and happy and peaceful at your heart. Then only you are spiritual. We can judge ourselves how much spiritually we are progressing by this standard. Sri Ramakrishna in 1874 November was seized with an intense desire to learn the truth of Christian religion. And he began to listen to the Bible read by Shambhu Malik. He used to come to Sri Ramakrishna, devotee of Ramakrishna. He asked him to read the Bible in Bengali, of course, which language Sri Ramakrishna knew. And he used to listen it intently, and he was impressed very much with the life and teachings of Jesus as described in the Bible. Then, on one day, he had gone to Jadu Malik. Jadu Malik was a rich man in the village of Dakshineshwar itself, not far from the temple where Sri Ramakrishna lived. In the parlor were there many pictures. One of them was a painting of Madonna with the child. And Sri Ramakrishna was intently looking at that painting, and suddenly that painting, the Madonna and Jesus, baby Jesus, became live. And the rays started coming out from that life, what he had the vision. And they entered into the soul of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was in ecstatic mood. And 3 days he remained in the thought of Jesus. And he didn't go to Kali temple that time, where he used to visit every day. He was so much immersed in the thought of Jesus and his teachings, and with this revealed vision of Jesus' life, that he was in a different world for all 3 days, living with the Christ. On fourth day, he was walking along the Panchavati, that sacred grove I spoke, made of 5 trees, where he himself had done many austere spiritual practices, meditating whole night. There he was walking on the sidewalk, and he saw a person coming towards him. He saw, I have not seen this person. And what he saw on the fourth day, after 3 days being with the thought of Jesus, there was a person with beautiful eyes, serene countenance, and fair skin. Sri Ramakrishna himself described this later on. And he says, who is this person? I have not seen. Suddenly it crossed his mind. Behold, it is the Christ who shed his heart's blood for the redemption of the world, who suffered a sea of anguish for love of men. It is he, the master yogi, who is in eternal union with God. It is Jesus, love incarnate. That filled his thought. And what happened after that? They came closer. Jesus came to Sri Ramakrishna and embraced Sri Ramakrishna, and then merged in the personality of Sri Ramakrishna. That is the story of his sadhana of Jesus. Seeing Jesus and having merged with the Jesus, that was this incident. So you can understand how Ramakrishna Mission loves Jesus. If we love Sri Ramakrishna, we have to love Jesus. If we don't love Jesus and love only Sri Ramakrishna, our love for Sri Ramakrishna is not complete. You love Sri Ramakrishna and you love Jesus equally. That's why in many centers of the Ramakrishna order in the West, we have Jesus along with Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda. And another spiritual personality you'll find in many temples is the Buddha, whom Swami Vivekananda loved and was inspired, and had the vision when he was a mere child of Buddha who came to him. Swami Vivekananda could not recognize that it was Buddha, and later regretted why did I go out when I saw him, and he had the idea that it must be Buddha. Some people ask me, Swami, it's a Hindu temple. Why do you worship personality from other religions, knowing little how Ramakrishna order is connected with the life and teachings of Buddha? Very order is based on the teachings of Jesus. When Sri Ramakrishna passed away at in Mahasamadhi in 1886, 16th August, then in December, the the small band of young men, 9 of them, mostly in their 20s, they went to a village called Antpur. It is not far from Kolkata, just a village, rural village. And it is the house of Swami Premananda, who had not become monk, who was Baburam Ghosh. They had a big house, all were the guests of Baburam Maharaj's mother, Nistarini Devi. And there, Swami Vivekananda was talking with that. One day they thought, let us meditate at night. It was the December, little cooler side, and they lit a holy fire called Dhuni fire. A log of wood were put on the courtyard, and they all sat and meditated under the guidance of Narendranath Datta. And after long meditation, Narendranath broke the silence and started talking about the love, purity, sacrifice of Jesus Christ, and inspired them about this sannyasin, this master yogi who was born 2000 years ago, 1900 years ago, and he spoke in brilliant, fiery language about the need of renunciation if you want to achieve spiritual excellence, to inspire humanity. You need to renounce your family. They were young people, they're all family, but they were living together, whether to renounce or not, that was the thing. Sri Ramakrishna had said to Narendranath Datta, these are under your care. See that they don't go back home. They live together and become the dynamite of spirituality, source of spirituality, so that they can spread the message to redeem the world, to make the world a better world, a happier world. So Swami Vivekananda spoke the life and teachings of Jesus Christ without even knowing that it was a Christmas Eve. It was 24th December. And after listening to Swami Vivekananda's exhortation of Jesus, and they all decided that they will all become monk. So the monastic order of the Ramakrishna began on 24th December with their resolution at the house of Baburam Ghosh at Artpur in West Bengal, India. So that day is very important. As Swami Ishtanandaji said, we all worship Jesus on 24th December, the Christmas Eve, right from Belur to all the centers all over the world. So that is the reason. And the people don't know why we worship Jesus. We find the teachings of Jesus ennobling and powerful to transform our lives from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light. They have so much power to change our life if we just read Sermon on the Mount. The Vedanta is there. Whole of Vedanta you will find there, Sermon on the Mount. There is a beautiful book by Swami Kripamayananda called Sermon on the Mount According to Vedanta. Small book, beautifully explain the teachings of Jesus according to Vedanta. How would you like to understand? Followers of Vedanta will be really benefited by reading that book. That is what the avatara comes, and avatara comes again and again in the world. As I said, one of the great messenger who came, when God came as the great messenger, was Krishna. And Krishna, we know not only by his divine play that worked in Vrindavan and Mathura, and later on in Kurukshetra, and then again in other places in Dwaraka, but he is more famous and more related to us by his teachings, making Arjuna as the he was just an instrument, so that the God's message is given by the messenger who was God Himself, and came and gave that message to through Arjuna to whole mankind. It is not Arjuna alone. That's why they said Arjuna is compared to the if the Upanishads are the mine of the milk. Sarvopanishado Gavo. All Upanishads are like the cows, and that milk that coming is the message, and that Sri Krishna milked that message, and there the calf was Arjuna, who just made the milk to flow in the cow. And that milk was not made for Arjuna, who was the drinker of milk. It was the all wise person, spiritual seekers, those who seek liberation, those who seek to make their life as much better as it could be. They are called Sudhi there. For them is the milk. So Gita was for all humanity, for whole mankind. That was the great messenger who God Himself came. And likewise, the Jesus was also the messenger. Sri Krishna said, people do not recognize God who comes as human being. Avajananti mam mudha manusim tanumasritam. I have assumed the form of a human being, but all people don't recognize God in the human form. They have an idea of God, but when God appears in front of you, you don't recognize God. So that is this power of Maya that hides that. And God also doesn't want to be known by all. So He sports like a human being, exactly like a human being. That's what God does. So these avatars are like the redeemer. They are the messengers and also redeemer. How do they redeem? Sri Ramakrishna is also called Kapala Mochan. They can change the fate of the person. How do they change the fate? By their grace, no doubt. But their grace is, then why don't we feel that grace? Why don't we all change our lives? The grace is always there. We have not opened ourselves to receive that grace. We have to unfurl the sail, and the breeze of grace will catch, and our boat will go across the ocean, across the whirlpool, and go to the safer and nicer place. So, unfurl the sail, make yourself open to the grace. As Sri Ramakrishna said, when you go one step towards God, God comes 10 steps towards you. So that is the grace of God. But first step you have to go. Somebody said, pray to God, oh Lord, please give me lottery. Please give me lottery. And lottery he was not getting. And again he prayed, Lord, I have been praying for you to lottery. Then one day God came in the dream and said, and he saw God and he asked, God, you are not blessing me with lottery. I have been praying for you. Then he said, my son, but you have not bought your lottery ticket at all. Unless you buy ticket, how will you get lottery? At least that much you do, and then pray and see whether you are answered or not your prayers. So like that one step, we have to at least progress towards God. Then God will come 10 steps towards that. That is the redeeming power of God. That is the grace of God. And that grace you find flowing through Jesus, through Chaitanya, through Sri Ramakrishna, through Shiva, all forms of God that are revealed, that came as Avatara, still living. It's not that Jesus lived 2,000 years ago and Sri Ramakrishna lived like 200 years ago. It's not that. They're still living. Only we have to recognize that and open ourselves to them, and we'll find them living. Swami Vivekananda himself had that. Sri Ramakrishna has not given up his subtle body, and he will never give up that. He will be always there. The problem came with Sri Ramakrishna when he was listening to the Bible. One problem came. and there was the description of sin. At that was the time people learned that sin thing, and it was in the religion that Jesus was born to, and and there was the sin and how to get freed from sin, to become free from sin. Sri Ramakrishna didn't like the word sin or papa. There is mistake, there is ignorance, there is weakness, there is impurity, but there is no intrinsic sin that we are born with. That Sri Ramakrishna or Vedanta does not recognize. Swami Vivekananda told this in very fiery words. It says, sin, it is a sin to call a man sinner. That's Swami Vivekananda said. Man is the son of, human being is the son of immortal bliss, ever pure, made in the image of God. Calling a man a sinner is like calling God a sinner. Can God be a sinner? Man also cannot be sinner. There might be some mistakes, some weaknesses, some ignorance, but those are all removable. All can be cleared up, and the real glory of man, the true soul of man, can be revealed by removing the cobwebs of the mind's impurity, and truth will reveal. The sin is never intrinsic to human soul. That Vedanta does not recognize sin. The Bible, it is the word of the Bible that God made man in his own image. What that image? God is supposed to be formless, and human being has the form. What is then that image is? That image is the spiritual power, the spirituality, Atman and Brahman. If God is Brahman, the supreme reality, eternal existence, human being in essence is that, because it is one with God. Vedanta will clarify that. How does God make man in his own image? It is because they are one that we say that Brahma, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Jiva, the soul, individual soul, and Brahman, that infinite existence, the supreme reality, you call God or any ultimate truth, that are not different. They are one. Human, our very nature is that infinite being. In popular verse, it is said Purnamada Purnamidam. That other, that is infinite. That means that supreme reality. Truth is infinite, full. That is Purnam. Purnam is complete, whole, full, infinite. And Purnamidam, this also is infinite. This, the human soul. That's why God has made man in his own image. It is not about making. God and man are in reality have the same essence. And they are one with the truth, ultimate truth or reality. Just we do not know. We are in ignorance. Only that ignorance removed, and then we come to know we are that being. How to have that knowledge that we are all one with God? To have that knowledge is ask and it shall be given unto you. Jesus said, you have to ask that the inner will has to be there to change yourself. You are very satisfied with your spiritual level at now. Oh, I do little japam, and then I do little read my scripture, Upanishad or Bible or Janda Vesta or Guru Granth Sahib, and that is enough. That is not enough. That is not asking. Asking is you want to really reach the state that you really are. We want to realize that bliss of God in me. And that is called ask and it shall be given unto you. It is the promise of God Himself. It is not some word written by someone. Promise of God. It is 100% absolute true. If we really ask, it shall be given unto us. And seek and ye shall find. Are you really trying to see God? Where to see God? God resides in our heart. God is transcendent as well as immanent. God is everywhere. The whole universe is the creation of God, we say. From what did God create? He created out of Himself. And that is how everything in the universe that we see is divine. There's no need to change the thing. They need to change us ourselves. Our visions need to be corrected. We are wearing colored things, glass, and we see the world colored. Now make our vision clear, and we'll find God revealed in everything of the world. Swami Vivekananda says that I have been seeing God and nothing else all my life, and that God is what ignorant call human being. To what level Swami Vivekananda takes the human being when he says every face that you see is the face of God in various forms. There you see nothing but God. How did the idea come that this is good, this is bad? All is your making, good and bad, pleasant and unpleasant, likable and disliked. That is all made by you. This is not the real thing. If you seek God, you will find God everywhere. In the Gita, Sri Krishna said that every head is his head. He walks with every feet. He has every limb is his limb. That's what the Gita tries to speak. So that is the message. Seek and he shall find. Just the thing is seeking. That is going forward one step. When you go one step, God will come 10 steps. Another step, another 10 steps. Progress is faster than we can think of. How we change our life through by our association with God and His teachings is amazing. So that is possible for every one of us because that is our real essence. We are never sinner. We are all pure and we are all divine in nature. And just we need to reveal that nature through our little spiritual practice, little workout, and the room is clean. We need to clean the room of our own mind. So seek and ye shall find. And finally, knock and it shall be opened unto you. What a wonderful teaching. There is probability. You have come closer. Now just knock. Only that much you have to do. And there is the truth there. You find that bliss there and you become one with the bliss. Rumi is so beautiful thing. Truth is on other side of the veil. Between you and the truth, there is a veil, small. And you remove that curtain. Remove the curtain and go, there is the truth. And when you go there, then you are not there. It's all truth alone. That is the truth. This separation, this individuality, this ego, this is wrong vision, incorrect idea. When we go to truth, it is all truth and bliss. This life of contradiction, conflict, fear, all that is untruth according to Vedanta. The truth is all bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. And if you follow the words of these messengers, you go there. Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So this is also the promise, just to gain the purity of heart. How to gain that purity of heart? What is meant by purity of heart? What will happen when we are pure? When we are pure, we have love for everyone. That is one sign of purity. You don't hate anyone. If you have hatred or dislike for someone, then there is little impurity left. There is one beautiful Bengali song which says, Sobare basre bhalo, noile moner kalo ghusbe nare. It means love all. Otherwise, the darkness in our mind will not go. This loving all is the purity. Is it possible to love all? Yes, that is possible to love everyone. So, as we love snakes, we love crocodiles, we love scorpions, we love life forms. They live their own life. Love doesn't mean we have to go and hug and do the thing. Loving is a feeling. Loving is the feeling. If we don't love crocodile in Alberta, we are going to seek alligator. Sorry, alligator. So we loving doesn't mean you go near and hug and touch. Doesn't that? Just respect the life form and see divine in them. The God's creation, wonderful. How varieties are there. You love nature means that. Nature is not only sunset and sunrise and waves in the ocean. nature are the animals, insects, nature are the trees and plants that all constitute the nature. When you love nature, you love everything, all life forms. It's all God manifesting in so many forms. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that one is realizing God in meditation and God of a choice, that which called Ishta. He comes in front of you and you see his form and you shed tears and you feel so happy to have the vision of God whom you were meditating for so long, so many years in life perhaps. That is one idea of having God vision. Another God vision is seeing God in everyone and enjoying every life form as the manifestation of that divine. And wherever you see, you find that same divinity revealed. That is even mature. The one is only confined to one particular form. You love God and you don't love any human being. Can that be there? You love only Jesus. You love only Ramakrishna, and you don't love any other human being. You hate some of the other human beings. So that is not real love of God. When you love God, you love everyone. Didn't Jesus said, when you had an altercation with your brother, and then you came to offer the flowers on the altar to God, and you were so feeling for your brother, don't offer the flowers. Go back to your brother, mitigate with him all the misunderstandings, have pure in mind, grow that peace and love in your heart, then come and offer. Only then your offering will be accepted by God. Unless we are pure, how will God accept that? That's why blessed are pure in heart, for they shall see God. So that purity is needed. Purity comes from love. Holy Mother said about the purity, he said, how to have that purity? One is loving all. This easier way, Holy Mother said, don't judge others. Don't find fault with others. Don't think others as you have seen. Always we try to judge in the negative way to other person. But see your own faults. You have lot of things. Jesus said the same thing, that people see the mote in the eye of others and the huge beam in their own eye. So much defect is there. They don't see their own defect and try to correct others as if they are so much wrong, without knowing how much correction you yourself need, how much correction we ourselves need. That's why Holy Mother, that teaching, don't find fault with others, find your own faults. That will give you peace. If you want peace of mind, that is important. So don't judge others just by what you think. Rather, feel that God has made variety of human beings, variety of us. If all would be same, all would be of the same thought, you think you are perfect and all would be of your thought. Swami Vivekananda said, if all would think in the same way, look in the same way, and would be have the same appearance and speak in the same way, then the world will collapse. The creation means variety, variation, and the through that variation undergoes the unity. All we are one in our nature. Even the smallest insect is one with the divine Brahman. So unity in diversity, that is the law of creation. The people ignorant only see the diversity, only difference. Wise ones see unity. And that unity that runs through all the beings like a thread passing through all garland, that is the divine being. So that unity is to be sought. Immediately when we find unity with others, we start loving others. Only separation is because you judge others so much and always judge negatively to others. That's why separation, difference, he is that, she is that, like that idea comes. The ones we have the idea of that one thread of spirituality running through all beings, then there is love. What is inside me, the same being is inside that person, inside that animal, inside that insect, that divinity, that consciousness. How to find that divinity? The divinity manifests itself as the consciousness, as the awareness, as life, where life is there. And where is there no life, there is same divinity, same consciousness in non-living beings, unmanifested. Little manifested in world, more manifested in the animals, more than that manifested in the human beings, and it is fully manifested in the avatars like Jesus Christ, full of divinity it manifested. So whatever they say, whatever comes through their mouth is all truth and truth alone. So when Jesus said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God," we need to try to make ourselves pure by not judging others, by not hating others, but having the feeling of friendliness with all, feeling of love for all. That's why Sri Ramakrishna, in his first saying, that he said, he is love incarnate about the Jesus Christ. His love that has become the flesh and blood. They say that there was in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and God was Word, and that Word became flesh. That is the concept of the description of avatara, that the impersonal, formless God has become the human being. There is the seed of the concept of avatara is there. That God becomes the human being of flesh and blood. That is the Jesus that we are celebrating, will be celebrating on that day. So, in Swami Vivekananda's talk, Christ the Messenger, you'll find how the spiritual awareness of all the one race became manifested in Jesus, and how he tried to change the society. It was society could not understand whole of society. Few persons were there; they understood he is he is the real messenger, the savior, like that. But many people didn't understand Jesus, and some were even angry with that. And as it is said in Christianity, the Jesus is a messenger, no doubt, but they try to make him more like a redeemer together with Jesus. Of course, incarnation, redeemer, and also messenger. And the more importance is given to his sacrifice, and to his sacrifice, as if God sacrificed his own son for the love of human being, to atone the sin of human being that Adam, the original one beginning human being, has done. To atone that, God sacrificed his son's life. But really, it was not son's life. The Jesus cannot die, the real Jesus. So he resurrected. Every soul is immortal. It cannot die. So was the Jesus, he resurrected. And the thing is very important in Jesus, that sacrifice. Of course, all you find passion and torture and all that is very hard to see. Sometimes they make the visuals of that in some movies. You cannot see any human being, anyone particularly, who was so much lover of mankind. When you see that being done that way in visually, it's very painful for the devotees of not only of Jesus, for any human being has some sensibility will be very suffering for that. But Jesus' greatness is suffering that passion without any complaint. And ultimate is his forgiveness. When he was crucified, most torture given even to kill him, the most torturous way to kill this holy man, this pure person who had done no crime in his life, in thought, word, or action, that being persecuted in that way. And what he says, is all forgiveness. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing, what they do. This forgiveness at that level is not the human forgiveness. When that forgiveness comes, that itself makes Jesus God. That it is God who can forgive to that level. When in Sri Ramakrishna's life is also one beautiful incident. Once Girish Ghosh, who led a bohemian life, he asked Sri Ramakrishna to something. He asked Sri Ramakrishna, said, "No, I can't do that," and he was very angry. And this Girish, when he used to become angry, he forgot what he is speaking, what he is doing. Out of anger, we also forget that. And Girish Ghosh was too much in that, and he said so bad words to Sri Ramakrishna. so much insulting way. He would use so many words to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna listened quietly. And Sri Ramakrishna was supposed to visit Girish Ghosh next day. Girish Ghosh was under the influence of alcohol, and other people were there, devotees. They all said, he had asked you to go tomorrow. Don't have any connection with him. Don't go there. He should understand that he's crossing his limit of how to behave with a holy man. We all adore you as God, as our Ishta, as our guide. And he is behaving you that way. Everyone was very upset with Girish Ghosh's behavior. And he said, they all requested Sri Ramakrishna, no more connection with him, no more going with him. He has crossed all limit. Sri Ramakrishna didn't say anything. Next day, when the morning came, and he said, can you call the horse carriage? Why? No, I have to go to Girish Ghosh. That is God's thing. And Girish Ghosh, though he may be a bohemian, maybe a drunkard, but very wise. When Sri Ramakrishna approached Girish Ghosh's house, he saw from his house Sri Ramakrishna is coming. Running, he came out and received Sri Ramakrishna. Bowed down to him, received Sri Ramakrishna. And he said, Thakur, if you had not come today, I would know you are a human being. He himself knew, though in inebriation he had told all these things, but he was aware what bad words he has said, how much insult he has done. To digest that insult, it is not the human being's power. That only God can do that. So that he said, this proves that you are God really. Otherwise, nobody could digest that power. This forgiveness, this love for everyone, love for those who harm even you. So this can be done when our divinity starts manifesting, when God comes. This, as Jesus or Ramakrishna, we all have to reach to that level. Maybe we will have not that power to redeem others, to change others' life, but we can change our life by the grace of Jesus, by the grace of Ramakrishna. And we have to raise to that level. Those others may do harm to us, but we'll never think of any doing harm to anyone else. So that is the full manifestation of divinity. There comes the real grace that we are getting, and we are manifesting divinity. Our life is changing. This love for all, to friends, everyone loves those who are good, those who listen to you, those who don't criticize you, those say yes, all good things. Everyone loves. But what is their specialty in a spiritual person? Even very worldly persons love those who are of their mind. But to love even those who do not have the same type of reaction towards you, towards us. So they may be criticizing, insulting, saying something that is not palatable to us. But does that make our love for them, our kindness, our behavior change because they said something? Then we are not spiritual. So nothing of their words or actions should make us unhappy because we are one with God. Whenever such situation comes, we need to feel that God has some purpose in this and made that action from that way. So our reaction should be more towards God and trying to understand God's purpose. And God wants me not to react in the situation so that I can feel that God is coming in me, God is revealing in me, I am growing spiritually by His grace. So Lord, this is your test, I know, so I'm not going to give up my relationship with you. I'm not going to be disturbed by the action of this person. So that type of play with God, that God is pleased then. When Sri Ramakrishna said to Holy Mother, you asked that lady to bring food, I cannot really eat this. She doesn't lead a very pure life. So Holy Mother said, please take. She told me, Mother, give me. Whenever people ask me, Mother, can I have that? I cannot say no. Whatever they ask, she will give. And Sri Ramakrishna said, then promise that you are not going to give any more, then I can try. So she said, how can I say that? Anyone saying, Mother, addressing me, Mother, ask something, I will have to abide by that request. That was the motherly heart. That is the divine heart. And what happens to Sri Ramakrishna? Sri Ramakrishna starts eating. Eat it today. She said, I cannot eat. it was touched by someone, then how is he eating that? That was all tasting Holy Mother, that how much she has loved. He was so pleased to see Holy Mother's heart embracing everyone, good or bad, no distinction. Anyone addressing her as mother became really her child, and all her mistakes were forgiven, and she embraced that and put that as the baby on her lap. That is the divine nature of a person. Sri Ramakrishna was perhaps tasting, who knows? And because he was so happy, that Holy Mother said, "You have to eat, and I will not." And she even didn't listen to Sri Ramakrishna saying, but Sri Ramakrishna was happy with that. Maybe God tests us sometime whether we are becoming spiritual in that way, and that taking a God's test, we can forgive those people and say the play of divine in such incidents. No hatred or ill feeling towards anyone. That way we become spiritual. And not having that, not letting us react in any negative way, our cheerfulness is retained. Our stay in the spirituality is retained. We become always close to God. That is how the divinity appears. So, on this holy occasion of Christmas coming next week, and we are celebrating Christmas, the celebration of Christmas going on this month. I saw everywhere in Florida when I was coming from airport to St. Petersburg. So beautiful lighting, and there is elation, there is joy everywhere of the holy month of December. People celebrating the advent of God, advent of Jesus, and there is joy in every place, and we are sharing the same joy. When we think of God, the joy is automatic, because God is Satchit Ananda, He is the existence, He is consciousness, and God is bliss. That when we think of God in any form, through any name, through any word, the bliss is there. Even to say he or she, that doesn't matter. Just for saying sake, we say he or she. But God is Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss. Not only is the one word remaining. Absolute is absolute. So I pray to Jesus to bless us all, to take us from ignorance to knowledge, and from darkness to light. And to know that we are immortal, we don't die with the death of the body, because we are not body. So the prayer from taking us from death to immortality. Thank you very much.
It was light to rise, to awake on the world. And I'll sing, oh children of the world, away.
So thank you, Swami Kripamayananda Maharaj. It was a wonderful talk. Yes, we have to take the first step forward towards God. Everything that Swami said was wonderful. Everything was true. As Holy Mother said, he reminded us that accept everyone as your own. Don't judge anybody. Don't find fault with anyone else. Make everyone your own. And there lies the clue, the secret. We live our ordinary life and we suffer every day, all our lifetime, because of those problems that we carry with us. Everyone is having some issues with everyone else. And we cannot give up all these problems. And that's why. So, whatever the Swami said was absolutely true and right. So, after this kind of a service, when the minister was at the door greeting everyone, leaving the church, then one elderly lady stopped by and said, Father, whatever you said was everything I found right. I see these kind of people around me every day. You are right. I see always somebody or other around me. So no, this is what the Swami said. It was wonderful. We really liked everything he said, and we loved the Swami, of course. And the message was simple and clear. Simple and clear. God appears in different ages as his own messenger, because that becomes necessary. That becomes necessary with the passage of time, as it has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita again, that Sri Krishna saying to Arjuna that I have come before many times and I have taught these same teachings many times. But sakale neha mahata yogo nasta parantapa. Because of this great influence of time, kala, these great words of wisdom, the yoga, they get slowly degraded and forgotten. And therefore, the God had to come back again. This is what we at Vedanta we believe in. It is not about that he had come thousands of years back once, just once, and that's it. This is not what we understand as the reality. The time passes on, flows on, continuity of this time through thousands and thousands of years, and the necessity for the great teacher to come back to us and again tell us the same message, the truth, that it is God alone that you are looking around you, and try to open your eyes, cleanse your heart and mind, and enjoy the company which is none other than God who is in front of you. So this is a beautiful message that Swamiji has given through all those different words of wisdom that we find in many different forms of God's messengers that he had put together, and in a nutshell he has delivered today. So thank you, Swami Kripamayananda, for this beautiful talk. We wish and hope that in future also you'll be able to visit us and give us another wonderful talk. So here, before my closing prayer, I have got a couple of announcements. Announcement number one is that this week, weeknights, Wednesday we shall continue with our Vivek Chudamani class, but on Friday it will be Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve night, instead of our gospel class, we shall have a Christmas Eve themed our class here, which is some readings from some holy books and necessary passages from the incidents that had happened in the life of the direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna that makes this Christmas Eve as important to us. So that is for Friday. Next Sunday, it will be Holy Mother's birthday, actually, according to Indian religious calendar, observed. So next Sunday, we shall be doing Holy Mother's birthday celebration here. We shall have a talk appropriately given from here. And then today, after this talk, we shall have a simple potluck in our yard. All of you are invited. Whether you have brought a pot for the luck or not, everyone invited. And next Sunday also we shall have a potluck. This is also an announcement today. And for that, there will be a signing piece of paper will be there outside this door. Those of you who would have some idea about what you are thinking about next Sunday, you can put down your names and the thing that you want to bring with you. So these are our announcements. Now our closing prayer. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May He who is the Father in heaven of the Christians, the Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Chinese faith, the Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto us, peace be unto all. Because the Swami will not be meeting you at the door on account of our COVID protocols. So just namaskar from here. And then we shall be there at the potluck.